Tired bastard. Here we go. Keg last week. Ooh, there we go, there she is. The Tired Bastard from that I brewed a few weeks ago. Yeah, so welcome to Homebrew Wednesday, number 13. Welcome along. So the Tired Bastard, my dark mild. Have you seen me with this one before? This is a good version of it. I've really backed off on the hops just to give. So only about 20 IBU. So it was only 10 at 80 minutes first wort, and then at 20 later on at 20 minutes. So what I want to talk about today is I had a really good brew day. Oh, my camera slipped a bit there. I'm one of those sort of people that my camera's set up with on a few books and the right angle. I must get myself a little stand. Anyway, cheers. Welcome along. So, this version of this dark mild has the 200 grams of a chocolate malt in it, light chocolate malt in it. Makes a difference. It's really good. Anyway, so I wanted to brew last Friday, I think it was, but I had a really bad fatigue flare up and it wasn't going to happen. So it's the way I roll, as you know, and there's no drama there. It's just the way it is. So I brewed on Saturday, and so I did the calling it Old Finn Honey Ale. So I had 3.5 kg of pale malt and 350 grams of light crystal, 100 grams of brown malt. I love my brown malt. 200 grams of wheat malt, and I used Fuggles hops. And I used US-05, and I just used one packet. And I just threw it in. I've changed a lot over the few years. I used to always do, as you know, starters, but lately I've been doing just throwing the packet in, and it's been fine. There you go. And I still think it makes a difference. I still think that doing a starter is yeast health is really important with your beer. I still believe that. I just haven't been bothered. Okay. So that's fine. So I used a teaspoon of calcium chloride and 1.5 teaspoons of calcium sulfate for my water profile. So I got it all together, put it in the mash tun. Actually, I've got a new mash tun, and I'll show you it because I don't think I've showed you it yet. When I say a new mash tun, my old one gave up the ghost. And so I went in and I bought a new chili bin, or a cooler, or whatever you want to call it. And it's smaller, it's 26 litres. My old one was a lot bigger than it, was probably about 40 something litres. And I had to cut down my manifold, which sits inside. So, but it's up and running really well. In fact, it works really good. Having a smaller mash tun means I'm hanging on to the. You can see that, and I've got the. Where is it? Got the tap coming out the other side there. You see. Yeah. So let's put this back over here. So it's actually holding the heat really well, and I was having trouble with my holding the heat in the old chili bin. It really for some reason it's sort of given up the ghost, and it was, I don't know, it was just probably starting to deteriorate on the inside. So yeah, that was a good call. That it suits me for, I would say, 95% of my beers, because most of my beers are about 4 to 5%. If I want to make a bigger beer, well, I'll have to try and fit it. I have to try and squeeze it all in. Anyway, so it went well. I put so my strike water was 74, and I've gone back to using the camp cooker and the 15-litre pot for my water, for all my liquor for my brew day. So that's pretty cool. And I for some reason I just find it easier than having the big HLT up there, which I had been using for quite a while and underletting it. But I've gone back to the camp cooker, and I really should do a video showing my process again, because it's changed a little bit. It's sort of gone back to the old way that I used to do it. It's just easier for me. I don't know why. Saves time, and I'm happy with it, and I get good results, so why not? So my strike water was 74 degrees Celsius, and my mash temp was 67, and I always try to get 67 when I'm mashing. That's no matter what I'm doing, a pale, a stout, or whatever. 67 is what I go for. So it's the same every time with every brew. Don't like messing around with my numbers too much. We've got to find the middle way, and it works really well. I did an 80-minute mash, and my pH was 5.4. Our water here in Christchurch, the pH is way up, at just over 8. So I found that my mash temperatures, even I don't want to use too much, too many salts in my beer, because it starts to get a bit of a taste if you use too much. And what I've actually done is I've stopped using Campton tablets to get rid of my chlorine. We don't have any chloramine in our water here in Christchurch, but we have chlorine. We actually used to have no chemicals in our water at all until the earthquakes came along, and after that some of the well heads or something were broken, and we were getting some bad water, and so they started putting a bit of chlorine in it, but no chloramine. I actually, I emailed the guy at the council, and he said, no, you're all right. There's maybe trace elements of chloramine, but it's negligible, so that's fine. So what I do is I just come out here, and I'll put the pot, fill the pot up for it, and leave it standing overnight. And I always bring my I have been lately bringing my mash water up to the boil first, and then letting it drop down, because the only reason that I do it, and I'm not 100% sure why I do it, but I was just told by a very good brewer that it's always good to pre-boil your mash water. Gets rid of a lot of oxygen in there, lowers the pH, and it's just a good all-round practice. So that's what I've been doing. Oh, cheers. That's a very good beer. The Tired Bastard. So I mashed out for 80 minutes, and then I mashed for 80 minutes, and then I did my mash out with 7 litres of boiling water, and I raised the mash to 75 degrees, and I let it sit for 10 minutes. That's pretty much a standard practice for me. It's even better with the smaller mash tun now, because I'm really getting that mash out temp up to 75, whereas before it was sort of around 68 to 70 degrees. So, but having said that, still making good beer. When it came to sparging, and I do this sometimes, I overshoot my lactic acid. Excuse me. I overshoot my lactic acid, and you put a little bit in, a bit of a squirt with the bottle, and then you stir it around, take a pH reading, and it was about, I don't know, went from 8 something or other down to 6.4, and then I just gave it a couple of drops, maybe 3-4 drops, and of course it shot straight down to 4.8. And I was going to run with it, but I thought, Finroo, don't be such a lazy bugger. You go from being a tired bastard to a lazy bastard. So I said, no, don't do that. Get it right. And the brew day was going so well. This new bench, this bar that I've got, is really suiting my brew process well. I've got plenty of room. It's up at a good workable height. I'm not bending over. It's working really good. So this bar has been a real asset to my process. But so what I did was I took a big pot of water out of the sparging water, and then replaced it with some cold water. And I did it a couple of times, a little bit, and eventually got it to 5.1, and I was happy with that, and so I left it at 5.1. The pH in my sparge water was 5.1. So I think it was worth doing that. So I sparged off. I did the recirculated with the pots, and got it up and running, and I put 10 grams of fuggles in at first work at 80 minutes, just put them straight in the pot, and then started my first runnings, and away we went. And then at 20 minutes, and it was just a great brew day. I was feeling really good. I wasn't fatigued, I wasn't stressed, I wasn't fumbling around and getting anxious and tripping over my own feet, you know what it's like, and looking around for things. I had everything sorted out, and I love it when that happens. It doesn't happen all the time. I woke up that day, and because I had been fatigued really bad with chronic fatigue syndrome, the next day that I woke up I was feeling really flat. I wasn't depressed, my mood was just flat, it was just low. And sometimes I think when you have chronic fatigue syndrome, and you wake up on it, you should embrace that flat feeling, because you're not using a lot of nervous energy up. You're just really mindful, really just doing the thing, just doing what you're doing, going around different things, doing your mash, just sitting here having a beer, watching some of my mates on on YouTube, and just really enjoyable. And I even got through the whole brew process and cleaned up at the end of the day, and I was cleaning up as I went along, and that's a first in a long time. So I'll drink to that. Cheers. If I wake up anxious and get into a brew day, I'm fumbling around and farting about and tripping over and forgetting things. It's just just that mind, getting that peaceful, not really happy, and not really sad, but just nice, just in the zone. And so that's what happened with the honey ale. So I carried on brewing, and got to 20-minute mark, threw in the 20 minutes of threw in the 20 grams of fuggles, my Irish moss, and my yeast nutrient that went in there at 20 minutes. And then at 5 minutes, well, actually I took a pot of boiling wort out of the boil pot, and I put my honey in, stirred it around, got it all dissolved in there, and then around the 5 minute mark I put it back, gently poured it back into the wort, into the boil pot, and it boiled away there for 5 minutes. I used 500 grams of Arataki honey. I don't know what Arataki means. It's a Maori word of some description. But it's basically your multiflora with manuka. There's not a lot of manuka in it, but there's a wee bit. And very nice tasting honey. And so I did that, flame out at 80 minutes, and I pitched a packet of yeast, USO5, and it got down to 20 degrees. So I used my wort chiller and ferment. So I've just turned it up to 22 degrees. I was started for my fermentation at 19 degrees, and so 19 degrees was fine, and then just today, which is about 3 days later, I've just bumped it up to 22 degrees, and that'll do the acetyl rest. The honey, I can see the krausen mark on the is quite thick. So she's been going off. It's all going well. It's obviously one packet's been enough. I probably should have put 2 packets in. I'm not too worried at this point. I am going to get back to doing yeast starters anyway, so that's just beer that I drink at home, and I've got my you know, what I like, and it seems to be doing it all right at the moment. So my OG was 1050, so that was given. I have a brew house efficiency here of 72%, with the mash tun that I made myself, and I'm more than happy with that, and apparently that's really good. And I know you guys with your circulating units are getting more than that, but I'm happy with 72%. And if you guys want to get are getting 72% with boil in the bag, or even a little bit lower, you're doing well. Don't worry about it too much. So that was the brew day. Another beer I've got on the go here is this Wigram Brewery Bristol Bitter. It is here. Went and saw the boys today, but they're all out. Brewer was away and Boss was away, but PJ was there, and he was a good fella, and he looked after me. And so this took a silver medal at the National Professional Homebrew. See, I'm tasting. There's quite a bit of floral in there at the moment. So this is Wigram Brewery's version of an English best bitter at 4.5%, which is cool. And I really like that. It's got a lot better. Not that there's anything wrong with it the first time I tried it, but a lot of these beers evolve, you know. There's quite a floral note to that. And I'm not sure what hops they use. But I can find out. So that's nice. Very clear. It's very bright, you can see it. Yeah, very nice beer. I'd like to see that on the hand pull somewhere. Oh, maybe I could send some over to the hand pull king. Haven't heard much from you for a while, Mr. Grimbarium. Come on. In fact, a lot of my mates, the homebrew brew tube community from England, have been a bit quiet lately. Cheshire homebrew. Crew Wolf, and some others. Jimbo, my mate Jimbo. Haven't heard from him. Snuzz is still piling out the reviews. Yeah, and other people there. I just can't mention off the top. I just thought about it. Come on. Get them going. Just enjoyed a video from the banana, Mr. Banana Man, a big banana brewer. Always enjoy his videos, and of course he's over in Ireland, and I think he thinks it's funny that he can put a Homebrew Wednesday video out before me. I'm on to you, son. Yeah. Oh, we're first. It's Wednesday today. All right, so that's really good. So that brew is ticking away good. There's no issues. Good healthy fermentation. The Tired Bastard is my stock standard, along with the other one, the Morrigan's Banshee Bitter. You know, talking about Ireland, Morrigan being the Banshee warning of death. Good. It's a beautiful beer. So I don't know, you can't see it over here, but I've got the big barrel of fermented fish, and I actually used some today. The Hydra Slate. It doesn't stink. There's a very, very slight aroma. But it smells very fresh, and it's been probably nearly 2 months in the barrel, and fermenting away. I did a video of that a few weeks back. So it's fermenting with bacteria in it instead of yeast, so it doesn't produce alcohol. So I actually just put a little bit in some water. I think about 20 mils in 20 litres. So that's about 1 to 1,000. So I don't know what happened there. I always do the video, then I watch it back, right? And so cut out. As you know, it was never mind. It doesn't matter. So I was telling you about my this is another Wigan Brewery, the honey ale, which is what I've just brewed last week, as I've just been telling you. But I don't know what their recipe is. So anyway, let's have a look. Spilling it all over his phone, over his book. So the thing is that yes, I've watered my plants with the fish fertiliser that's been fermenting, and I've just put, like as I said, trying to catch up with what I was watching. So 20 mil in 20 litres. So that's what I did, and with rainwater, and I've put it over my plants. My plants are going so well. Got some bok choy going. I've got some parsley going, which is, you know, pretty basic. I've got some cabbages going. Cabbages are really taken off. I've really been treating the soil with you know, worm juice and making up little concoctions with a bit of blood and a bit of this, that and the other thing. Going really, really well. I'm really happy with my plants, and soon I'll start actually do another thing of the make up another batch, 20 litre batch of the fish hydroslate, I think they call it, and I'll be putting that into my pots for when I put my chilies and tomatoes and cucumbers in. Last year they went so well, so I think I'll leave it at that, because I've done this video before. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to spring, which is only, I think, a week away or 2 weeks away. Today's been a beautiful day. We were forecast for rain, but we've had a beautiful sunny day, and yeah. So I said it before. Oh, hang on, let's have a look at this honey ale. This is the honey ale from Wigan Brewery. Oh, here comes Baxter now. G'day, big fella. How you doing? Hey, you gonna say hello to everybody? Hey. Here he is, big guy. He's been fed. You alright, mate? He just loves attention, this fella. He come in at the 11th hour. Watched a video about that the other day from Big Jim. Hey. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Thanks for hanging around. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see. I've really been appreciating everyone's comments and views and everything like that. So just please stick with it. I really enjoy it, and I've appreciated the uptake of my views and things like that. It's been really cool, and meeting new people and whatnot. So here's the honey ale. And that is really good. I'll compare it to mine in a couple of weeks. So cheers, everybody. You take care.